It was 2015 season. I remember getting sacked 7 times. Yeah, it was loud, third downs. You just had to buckle down and try to block out the noise. So I'm excited that we get this opportunity to play at home this week, and hopefully we can make the Jets feel what I felt in 2015.
The Broncos are looking to go 3-0 for the first time since 2016 as the Jets come to town, and we're getting you ready for kickoff. Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Phil Milani alongside Sidney Jones and Eric Dalala. Guys, Teddy Bridgewater has gotten off to a tremendous start here. The Broncos are sitting at 2-0. Will it continue this week for Teddy?
I mean, absolutely, Phil. I think Teddy has shown that he is consistent, and I don't think that changes at all this week going up against the Jets, especially since they are one of the youngest teams in the NFL. But, I mean, they do defend well. They've allowed 22 points per game so far this season. But, I don't think it's anything Teddy can't handle. Teddy has shown that he is a guy who can consistently move the chains, and I think to Broncos country is surprised, a guy who can also throw downfield. He's thrown downfield, I think, just over 17% of his pass plays, and is the 4th ranked rate among quarterbacks. So, I think he's just going to continue that, and I think we'll see that success moving forward.
Yeah, we saw him take several shots last week down to Cortland Sutton. Eric, Bridgewater, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. How's he doing this?
Well, I think he's finding the open receiver. He's got good chemistry with all these guys, and he has a chance to make a little bit of a history, Phil. We know he's one of 4 quarterbacks in NFL history to start the season with 2 games with over 75% completion percentage, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. If he can do that again this weekend, joins Drew Brees as only 2 players to start the season with 3 games that way. The only reason I'd be a little bit concerned is the Jets' 3rd down defense has been really good. 2nd in the NFL. The Broncos obviously struggled last week, 2 out of 11 on 3rd down, but maybe a silver lining is the Jets have not been very good on 1st and 2nd down, which is really where Denver's problems kind of stemmed from last week. So hopefully they're able to stay ahead of the chains and Teddy can keep this thing going.
And maybe get off to a fast start. Here's what Teddy Bridgewater said his approach is to this week.
For us, we just got to focus on us, control us. My mentor, he texted me Sunday after the game, and he was like, man, don't take the cheese. It's poison. It's rat poison. And, it's those constant reminders of to stay grounded, respect the game, continue to work hard because there's always room for improvement.
On the other side of the ball, guys, injuries are starting to pile up here. First week, it was Ronald Darby heading to IR. Last week, it's Josie Jewell, Bradley Chubb. Will they be able to overcome all of this?
Yeah, Phil. It's really unfortunate that we're going to be playing without 3 defensive starters already this season, but I think they'll be able to bounce back from this. I think they just keep doing what they're doing. We saw Pat Surtain step up in Ronald Darby's place last week. And even head coach Vic Fangio, he said this week that, he does feel comfortable with our depth. And obviously Malik Reed played a lot last season. I think he feels very comfortable with him stepping up in Bradley Chubb's place. And Justin Strnad, he'll be up in Josie Jewell's place. So I think if the defense just keeps going out there, make a couple big plays or 2, they should be good this week.
Yeah, the defense obviously 2 interceptions last week. Eric, it's just the next man up mentality, but how do you do that for a guy especially like Bradley Chubb?
Yeah, it's hard to replace Bradley Chubb because he's a Pro Bowler. Obviously, he had that 2018 season with 12 sacks, but Malik Reed is not an inexperienced guy stepping in here. He led the team in sacks last season. He had a bunch of snaps the previous 2 years, so I think he's ready. I'd be a little bit more concerned about the Justin Strnad replacing Josie Jewell just because he is a young player. He's only played 20-something snaps in his NFL career. As they play some of these teams over the next couple weeks, you wonder, is he going to be able to keep up with it mentally and know his assignments? Because that then affects how you play physically. So that's something to keep an eye on. But like Sidney mentioned, this team played nearly every snap, certainly the second half last week, without any of those 3 guys. They did not allow a touchdown on defense, did not allow points on defense after that first drive. And so I think they'll be fine. And with all the injury concern, Phil, let's remember some of these guys are coming back. Ronald Darby will be back soon. Bradley Chubb, 6 to 8 weeks from now, will be back. Michael Ojemudia should be back here sooner or later. So it's more about surviving right now. Josie Jewell, knock on wood, is the only long-term injury, and we'll have to see how Strnad steps up.
Still waiting, though, to see Von Miller and Bradley Chubb on the field together under Vic Fangio here. Here's what Von had to say this week.
I wouldn't say he's frustrated. That's just part of the game, you know. That's just part of the game, and you know his mindset is whatever they say. The time that he has to sit out, you know, he's trying to cut that in half, and you know, just like all of us, you know, I was saying the same thing last year. You know, I was trying to come back, and that's just the true. That's just the true spirit of a true competitor. You know, he wants to get back here. He wants to be here.
And now for our final segment here on this show, the Broncos finally get to kick things off at Empower Field at Mile High. A lot of excitement, energy here in the city. The Broncos are 10-plus point favorites. It seems strange to say, but how do they not get overconfident this week?
Right, Phil. I think they just come out and play this game like they've played any other game. You know, I think that's the beauty about the NFL, because you can be a 10-point favorite or you can be like a 20-point underdog, and anything can happen. But I know a lot of the guys this week, they've talked about just coming in with that 1-0 mindset, and I think that's just what they have to do. You know, stick to the game plan, protect the football, and keep playing like it is 1-0.
Eric, I know you had a chance to go back through the Broncos' recent history here. This is some unfamiliar territory.
Yeah, it's been since early in the 2017 season when the Broncos were favored by this many points, and anyone who was on this team then, or even someone who wasn't here, just needs to look back at that game to know kind of what's at stake this weekend. They lost by 13 points in a game they were favored in by nearly 2 touchdowns. So nothing's guaranteed, and I think you look at that game as a script to avoid. They turned the ball over several times. They let up a bunch of sacks. They were not great defensively. They fell behind early, down 2 touchdowns at halftime. All those things are things that you need to avoid to make sure you don't allow the Jets to pull a massive upset. And I'm not too worried, because I think in addition to his play on the field, Teddy Bridgewater, great leader in the locker room. I don't think he's going to let them get too high. He was saying, Phil, don't eat the cheese, poison.
Poison. Yeah, his mentor told him that. I think that's Bill Parcells, pretty good a mentor to have. Vic Fangio was asked about that this week and probably had the soundbite of the week.
This is just our third game. You know, it's the next game. You know, favorites or lines don't mean anything to us. You know, this is the NFL. You know, I don't know Urban Meyer at all, really. I met him the other day. You know, shook his hand before the game and after the game. And his comment to me was, every week it's like playing Alabama in the NFL.
Okay, time now for predictions. Sydney, let's hear a score.
Phil, I'm going to go 31-10, Broncos on top.
110. Okay, I like it. Eric?
Yeah, same score for the Broncos, 31, but I don't think the Jets get in the end zone, 31-6. Denver runs away with it in the home opener.
I say 37-10 Broncos. So we all have the Broncos' big victories here coming up on Sunday. Let's see if they can do it. That's a lot of points to put up on the board. We'll see what happens. That's going to do it for us. For Eric DeLaw and Sydney Jones, I'm Phil Milani.